And the Navy held successful experiments to see if man-lifting kites could safely be flown from onboard ship. Cody went on to build and fly the first British aeroplane. In fact, his plane and this one, built in America by the Wright brothers, looked very like box kites with engines. These young scientists are experimenting with kites of their own. This type of kite is made by fitting polythene onto a light wooden frame. The children are hoping to develop a kite that will fly higher and for longer than any other. An important part of this kite is its tail. But how long should this tail be? That's what these scientists are trying to find out. There are other experiments as well. Perhaps the kite is easier to control in the air using 2 strings instead of just 1. It was experiments like these that found a shape that lifted in the air. It was the same shape that is found on a bird's wing. It's the shape that we now call an aerofoil. The bottom surface is flat and the top curved. Those early experimenters discovered that when the aerofoil was held in the wind, it would move upwards. It lifted. They had discovered a shape that could be used on the wings of an aeroplane and the blades of a helicopter. The most successful of all experimenters with helicopters was an American called Bell. His helicopter used blades on the tail as well as the main blade to move in the air under greater control than many of his rivals. Other experiments were less successful. This flying machine was a mixture of aeroplane and helicopter, an autogyro. The engine pulled the machine forward and the blades spun in the wind to keep it in the air. This experimental helicopter also used the power of the wind to keep it flying. It had no engine and the blades had to be started by hand. Once in the air, You stayed there as long as the wind blew, or until you were winched down again. This helicopter was specially designed to fly at sea, where it could be towed along if there were little wind. It could also be quickly pulled apart and packed away into boxes. The helicopter was small enough to be flown from a submarine. This helicopter was also experimental. It had an engine, but this engine turned not one, but two sets of blades, each spinning in opposite directions. And this is what all that experimental work led up to, the modern helicopter. It's moved about the sky with the help of these big blades up there and with the smaller ones on the tail. I'll show you how. This is much safer. These are parts of a helicopter's blades. You can see the rounded aerofoil shape, and normally they would extend right out in each direction. This control, number one, first accelerates the blades to their correct speed, and then by pulling changes the twist of the blades very slightly. Changing the twist causes lift, and up we go.
Right, we're going to take off. We shall do this by raising the lever in my left hand, and the machine will climb vertically into the air. Here's the lever coming up, and the machine now beginning to lift.
Control number two, this one, can twist each blade independently. Doing this causes the helicopter to go forward, backwards, or sideways, one way or the other. And control number three, down here, operated with the feet, changes the blades on the tail to turn the whole plane round to let the pilot look in any direction that he wants to.
Still going backwards. Coming now to our landing position, which I can see over my left shoulder. Turning the helicopter by use of left pedal this time. Nose goes to the left. Landing pad on the left now. Moving over the landing pad. And this time to come down, remember, I shall use my left hand to lower the lever gently to complete the landing.
A piece of plastic can be shaped to make a simple flying machine that works in the same way as a helicopter. A hole is punched through the plastic as near the center as possible. Bending the plastic wing produces a simple aerofoil. It was only 200 years ago that Montgolfier first lifted from the surface of the Earth using a flimsy paper balloon. Less than 100 years ago, Cody experimented with kites to find some way of controlling movement in the air. And only 80 years ago, the Wright brothers flew using aerofoil wings. Nowadays, these young scientists are experimenting to find safe and reliable ways of launching their own flying machines.